Hey, what's up, Boxing World? It's your boy coming back for show number 12 with the 13th round with Freddylokz. Let's get right into last week's results. We had Monty Mesaclay with the KO in 1 over Fernando Omarly Saraga. I was really impressed with Monty. I think his next fight should already be with the top 10, top 15 level guys. Really exciting 130 pounder. Oscar Larios, he took advantage of his late sub position and stopped Fedor Viloria in 5 rounds. Larios now holds a piece of the title he came up short with against Jorge Linares. So I wonder if they're going to fight again or not, but it looks, the picture's getting pretty interesting in that division with Larios back in the mix. And the biggest fight of this weekend was Fernando Montiel's slaughter over Luis Titi Maldonado. Now I thought it was going to be closer than that, but you know what? Montiel made him look like an amateur and beat the living crap out of him for those 3 rounds. I mean, it was pretty ugly. I mean, he took every piece of skill Titi had in him and stopped him in 3 rounds. You know, he's been on a rampage since his loss to Johnny Gonzalez. You know, and he has a lot of top guys on his resume, and only 2 really close losses. One was a split, one was a majority. So that says a lot about Montiel. I would really love to see him in there with Christian Mijares. That'd be a beautiful fight, and I think the winner of that would be the king at 115. I was going to talk about the Danny Williams scandal, but it's all over the news, you know, so just Google Danny Williams. I mean, you know, the promoter stopped the round short and whatnot, whatever. Just look it up. It'd be a lot easier. They even have the videos up. Yusuf Mak with the unanimous decision over Daniel Judah on Wednesday night fights. And the prospect James Moore suffers his first defeat when he faced Gabriel Rosado. This was on Wednesday night fights. Let's talk about upcoming fights and predictions. We have Urbano Antion staying active this week against Jose Cruz. I'm looking for a late stoppage in favor of Urbano, or maybe even a decision. You know, I'm really looking forward to seeing Urbano fight. I'm a really big fan of him, and he's still young career-wise. He's really young. He has a lot to learn, but he's looking to get there already. We also have Marco Antonio Rubio on his road to Cali Pavic versus Freddy Cuevas. I'm looking for a mid-round KO. You know, Marco Antonio Rubio, he's showed some serious power at that weight. I don't think Cuevas could handle his punches. Pretty tough guy, but I think Marco will eventually knock him out. We also have the Battle of the Snakes, the Viper versus the Latin Snake, Vernon Forrest versus Sergio Mora. I'm leaning with Viper by decision. You know, Mora is a slick, hard to hit, but I do believe that Vernon's overall skill is a lot better than Sergio Mora. I think Sergio Mora is just really slick. You know, really slick, hard to hit flush, but sometimes he stands up straight. So I think that's going to be Vernon's chance to tee off on him. Not really that much power behind Mora, so I'm looking for a Viper victory. The rematch between Carlos El Indio Quintana versus Paul the Punisher Williams. I'm looking for Paul to try to outbox him a little bit, you know, but I do see Paul getting a bit upset and falling back in the slugfest, and Carlos being a really slick counterpuncher with a pretty decent chin. I see the same outcome. I'm going with Quintana by decision. Now we also have Cali the Ghost Pavlik versus Gary the Rocket Lockett. You know, I ain't seen much of Lockett, but Enzo Calzaghe is putting his house up on the line against him. But Freddylokz is betting $20 on Cali Pavlik by knockout. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing. And you know, the most talked about fight is actually in the smaller weight class. It's between Daniel Ponce de Leon versus Juanma Lopez out of Puerto Rico. We have this rugged Mexican in Ponce, and we have this slick, powerful Puerto Rican in Lopez, and many have been asking me what my prediction is going to be now. Honestly, it can go either way. I mean, I can easily see Juan Manuel Lopez outboxing Ponce de Leon, but from what I've seen of Lopez is his heart. You know, he gets hit a lot, and he tends to slug it out when he doesn't have to. Now, I think if that happens, you know what I mean, Ponce will eventually catch him. You know, he's a veteran already. He's been in there with slick boxers. He's been there with a lot bigger guys. He's been there with power punchers. He's been there with hungry prospects. You know, people underrate him, but he's pretty much been in there with every kind of fighter you can imagine. So I'm siding with Ponce de Leon. by late run stoppage. You know what I mean? I'm siding with my boy. I've been a fan of his longer, and he's actually been tested already, so I'm siding with him. Let's get into some questions from the fans now. Tony from MySpace is asking me, give me your opinion on the scoring of a couple of recent fights. Marquez versus Pacquiao 2 and Calzaghe versus Hopkins. It's pretty tricky. I mean, Marquez, I had him winning both fights against Pacquiao, but he's asking me about the second fight, which I believe Pacquiao looked like the hungrier fighter at times, you know, trying to force the action, trying, but he wasn't getting anywhere. I saw Juan Manuel outclass him, outbox him, counterpunch him, outmuscle him when they did get into these exchanges, you know, but you know, Manny knocked him down, and Manny was the favorite, and a lot of people are following the superstar Manny right now. So I mean, of course, I ain't blind. I know that had something to do with the scoring and some close rounds, but I do believe when it's a close fight like that, and the superstar is the one actually looking like the hungrier fighter, the more frustrated one, the more trying to make a real fight happen. I think they lean towards that. But I think the reason Manny was looked that way is because he was losing. You know, I don't think it was a strategy. I just think he was losing, so he was frustrated, trying to land anything. So that's how I scored it. Now the Calzaghe versus Hopkins fight, I mean, you know, Hopkins he'll make anybody look stupid. I mean, he makes everybody look stupid. He figures everybody out. But Hopkins' problem is that he doesn't capitalize on it. Though both look like crap, I did give it to Calzaghe, you know, based on punches landed, whether they're arm punches, shoulder punches. I mean, at least something landed. They were sloppy, but at least something landed. And you know, Hopkins, like I said, he's really slicky, tricky, and a veteran. He'll make anybody look stupid. I don't care how skilled you are. But I did give it to Calzaghe. I think the judges saw what I saw. You know, in this case, he was winning and still trying to make a fight happen, which is a difference with Pacquiao. Pacquiao, I don't think, was winning, and he felt desperate. You know, so that's my take on that. Golden Boy from Eastside Boxing is asking me, what are Pac-Man's chances of being successful if he keeps moving up now? I don't really think he's been successful at 130 to begin with. You know, a lot of over the hill guys, but with big names. No doubt, Manny's a superstar. I'm a big fan of Manny, but I gotta see how things really are. You know, his last fight, I don't think he won it. So moving up in weight, I think is his first. I think they gotta be really picky with his opponents, because I don't see him beating a lot of guys. I actually see a lot of guys beating him. I think David Diaz is a perfect opponent, and he's a champion right now, so it's going to give Manny a lot more creds, but I don't see him being really successful unless they really like cut and pick his opponents. I don't see Manny being really successful at all. I just see his name carrying him up to about another 2 divisions, but that's it. I don't see him being successful at all. Now, this is not a question, but it's a really good poster named Bazooka from Eastside Boxing. He wants me to clear up the Joshua Clottey versus the Antonio Margarito scandal with who he was hurt and Clottey was whooping his ass up until the 4th round. You know, I don't buy into that, because for one, if you remember, and you can look it up if you want, Antonio Margarito had suffered a ankle injury like a week or 2 before the fight, still went into it, hurt his wrist in about the 6th round, showed his wrist. You know, you can clearly see at the end of the fight that he was really hurt. And Joshua Clottey did say after the Corrales fight that his knuckle was just bruised. So let's quit this hating on Margarito, that saying that Clottey was smacking him up and down the ring until he broke his hands. People have said he broke his hands. Now they've taken it that far to try to talk down on Margarito. He did not break his hands, people. He hurt his knuckle, okay? And unless you fought with hurt wrists, hurt knuckles, and unless you fought Margarito or Clottey, then you can't really speak on it. We gotta go by what the news reported, and that's what the news did report. So we gotta respect that. I mean, it gets kind of boring to see Margarito try his hardest to make these fights happen. You know, fight these low reward, high risk opponents. So all people can do is talk down on them. I mean, I think those are the kind of people that are affecting boxing, you know. So let's just quit that. I mean, enjoy the fights, enjoy the fighters, and at least he's trying to clear up the division. Give him that. With that, your boy is out. A lot of thanks going out to Eastside Boxing, the Psycho Round family, the Lay It Low family, BoxRec, Max Boxing, MySpace. Everybody's showing a lot of love and support for the 13th round. With that, your boy is out. Peace.